Now, when you're marking this, these will connect. So this connects to here, which frays out this connection to here, which frays out this connection to here. Trends should always connect like this. They should always connect. They should not do this and then this. These two must connect. That is kind of a rule with trends. You are not seeing the correct trend if you notice that you've marked a trend here and you've marked a trend like that, right? You're not seeing the correct trend because in a case where you have this right here, this will bind the entirety of the move until it's broken through. That means that this legacy trend or purple trend we have will create the bind of the move in another point, and that will create the bind of its lower move in another point. This is how you properly mark trends. Accumulation to accumulation candles, where they connect the move, right? That is how you properly mark candles. If you are drawing a trend from some arbitrary spot like this, it is not going to do anything for you except just show you some kind of confluence in a move. This is not going to show you anything, right? This will not show you what's happening in a move, even if you were to mark this to this. As you can see right here, it does nothing. Rather, it was this that you saw, which would have been in this moment like this, like that, and then like this. Turning that green, turning this blue, turning this orange. Not orange, sorry, purple. Okay, so we'll do this one as orange then, I guess. That'll be our fourth part of this. We'll just do orange right there. This is what you would have seen, which would have been also rejection against this. Oh, it actually didn't even reach that. Daily level, let's see the 4 hour. Yep, didn't even reach it. So not surprised this move actually retraces all the way back down, as it doesn't even reach its inverse level. But this is the same thing that we just looked at on Oaks, how Oaks was back-breaking a global level by getting fueled by a local level, right? This feels a local level, comes up, pushes way above it, and moves up quite a bit. This actually looks like quite a large move, 90%. Oh my God. So DLT had a 90% move. So this is actually the exact same move as Oaks, and you can see it here on this time frame as to what happens here and why the move happens. So you actually get compressed against local trend, which you're, again, remember, you're marking from swing high, and this would have been fractally relevant off of the blue trend. So you don't have to mark the accumulation candle on the reach point. The base point of the original move has to be accumulations. To see the real trend going back to the daily, the base point will be accumulation to accumulation. As you fray out, right, you see how this right here is connecting to a distribution candle. That's okay, because you're going to start by creating the accumulation to accumulation candle on your large time frame. You're then going to be moving down in time frames, right? Even go to the hourly, which is fine. You will have on some time frame throughout these charts an accumulation candle, but that's not the point. The point is that on a daily, you have to go accumulation to accumulation, because that will show you the accurate parts of your move, like this down here, and the top side up here, kind of the bounding range, right? And then as you create those moves, right, you are going to be fraying from one to another like that. So it's kind of this arraying pattern, like trend arraying, I guess is the best way to call it, or you know, whatever you want to call it. I just call it trend arraying or local global trends. But we have the same move happening here on DLT, where it was the exact same thing. You have the backside of a trend, right? Gives you perfect entry, breaks through one trend, comes, tests the global level, right? Probably hits a hold level. I'm assuming it hits this right here. No, it actually even hit one higher, which is great. What would this be, a 4 hour then maybe? It's just a 1 hour hold in between. Okay, so that's fine. It anyways hits this valley right here, holds this valley, moves up through the global trend, and then has a huge move up to its next trend, right? Trend compression. Can't really go past that. In this case, you would have exited at 75 75%. It goes up to 90, fine. That's not the important part. The important part is seeing the other part of the move. So when you guys are drawing these trends, connect your trends, because those will show you the true trends. Because what you're not seeing when you connect the trends is you're not seeing the relationship to its global level. So if you were to connect the trends from a top-down approach, starting with a daily, from accumulation to accumulation, distribution to distribution, how we did it, if you were to reverse engineer that, what you would see is you would see this. You would see accumulation to accumulation candle. So you'd see the most local part of the trend. So this is how you would do it if you were in the moment, right? You would see the most local part of the trend, realizing that this is your global trend. Now your global trend is going to come back from your current swing, right? So right here to here. Kind of looks like it's actually right here. I would assume it's right here, just the proximity of that, which is going to show you your next trend, which is here, which we can say this is the, well, let's pin this here and then pull this to up here, right? So that's how you would do it in the moment, to reverse engineer how you can see these trends. And you can even go with this if you want, but in this case, just, you know, again, experience. This is kind of looking like this was the trend, and you can kind of see it right here. It did test it and it tried to go over it, but it failed down. And then when you simply go to the daily and redraw that, you're going to get the exact same thing, right? And you can see where your actual trend came from and how you tested it. If you go back to the hourly here, yeah, you can see by drawing this line here to this line here, you actually got the perfect exit on DLT within reason to a few sats. You'd never sell the exact trend. You're always going to sell a little bit less. You got within 1% of a 90% move. And if you saw that trend there, you would just say, yeah, you're probably touching the valley. That's kind of the ending point. So sell the inverse level. So me, I would have sold this right here, a few sats below this, the inverse level. So you can reverse engineer trends, this arraying of trends. And we'll do this on a few coins because this is, you know, we stepped through this pretty quick on here. Come on. Boy, trading view, just even with the magnet tool, it doesn't work. I think I'm too far zoomed out. So you can see how this was reverse engineered to show you where trend was breaking. And you can see it right here. Even if we go into the moment, 5-minute candles, what does it show us? It's probably going to show us a big move up against this. Again, from whatever this valley is here, I'm not quite sure. You know, just walking through this move quickly, but whatever hold level that was, I guess it was an hourly hold. You can see again where it does that same exact thing that I kind of always talk about: come above, test, and then it's gone, right? Because it's breaking trend, right? It's kind of this pattern that we can see everywhere, and it's breaking trend. And then there's a pretty straight move up to this level here, and then same thing on this side, right? Like you would do very much the same thing, where you would go from high to high, right? Oh, come on. High to high to see the current trend, right? So this would be local to that part of the move right here. So this is that same thing in the next set of trends, which would be here, which is connecting this to here. So this is turning blue here on this trend, right? Which is actually, that's still going to be the pink trend line. I did that improperly, but okay, you know, we'll just leave it blue for now. That's fine. Yeah, keep stepping back here. Hopefully I don't have to go too far. But you can see in this moment where you can find these trends, right, by reverse engineering point to point to point. So when you walk through this and step through this, and let's do it on a second coin. We already know this is true. So this is a truth. We have trend to trend. We're going to turn this green because this is the local part of the move, right? In a scenario where this is going to be the inverse valley to the level, right? We're going to see that's the inverse valley to the level. We're going to see, and what are we on, a 5-minute chart here? So there's the first test, right? And then really the next test is, you know, breaking trend. Slow down right there. Okay. You know, we're going to see breaking trend, and you can see the compression of trend here. Like it's just so, you know, obvious that this thing is trying to break out, and it's going to eventually attempt to hold the larger level, right? And there it's starting, it back attacks its valley, it's holding its level. moving up. So, okay, we're in this move in this moment. What do we do? We know this is going to be the global trend, right? Something like this. This is a 5-minute chart, so it's a little tough to do, but that would be it right there, which is also connecting. Not that. There to there to there. Yep, so that would be it right there. Right, like this right here. And then you would have, oops, Mr. Purple, like that. This is a 5-minute chart, so with respect to it being a 5-minute chart, just keep that in mind. We're not charting that far back. See? It's like magic. Every single time, trend compression. Can't make it up, guys. Every single time. 1, 2, 3. See how it stops at the inverse level? Just like we looked at on Oaks. This whole break of this global level stops at the inverse, breaks above trend. It just happens quicker on QLC. Hits this, which I bet you is the inverse here of this global level, which would be, I'm assuming it's right here. Because again, this is a 5-minute chart, so we're going to go verify this, but I'm assuming it's right here. I'm assuming this is the valley on maybe an hourly chart or something like this. Yeah, it looks like the 4-hour valley right here, I guess, or here. I don't know. We'll just see where it is. Right here. So, and again, you're never setting your sell on the SAT. You're just not doing it. It's silly. And you know, this whole thing is just like a 5-minute chart. So this is just a 5-minute chart off the bigger move, right? Inverse there off of this valley, inverse here off. I wonder if this is a 12-hour. No, could be a daily. Maybe it's a daily and that's why it stopped. Yeah, it's a daily. It makes sense. Stops on the daily inverse because it's attacking the daily. Yeah, okay, that's why. Makes perfect sense. Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.